had a bad dream? According to sleepeducation.org, from the section about sleep disorders by categories, risk factors, about 50 to 85% of adults report having the occasional nightmare. Judging by you all, we've all had a nightmare, including myself. This week, I've always experienced sleep paralysis very often, and it's very vivid. If any of you know what a sleep paralysis is, it's terrible. Terrible feeling. The Chapoya Indians, also known as the Ojibwe, I'm sorry, my apologies if I'm saying this wrong, lived in Dakota, North Dakota, Michigan, Minnesota, Ontario, and they speak a form of Algonquin language. How many of you all know what this is? How many of you know what it is used for? According to LegoMonin.com, Dreamcatcher meaning history, legend and origins of Dreamcatchers, published by Kay Swaby in July 14, 2016. The legend behind the Dreamcatcher, or the sacred hoop, is that there was a maternal spider woman that would weave a net around a hoop just like this, and the net would capture all of the dreams, the sweet dreams and the bad dreams, and the bad dreams would get caught in the net, and the sweet dreams would pass down through the feathers and onto the beads, onto the sleeper that is sleeping under. She wanted to protect the children and the babies and whoever that was sleeping, so they won't have bad dreams. From nativelanguages.org, from the section Native American tribes, the published date, I couldn't find the published date on there, but the cover hoop, the patterns of the sacred hoop are similar to the Native Americans and how they tied their snowshoes. The Native Americans believe that the night air is filled with dreams, both good and bad. Let's picture their snowshoes. The webbing right here is just like how the webbings are in the net of the Dreamcatcher. The web itself is used to catch the bad dreams at night and dispose of them in the morning. The feathers act as a fluffy pillow, like gently descend upon the sleeping person undisturbed. The beads symbolize the spider weaver itself. The traditional ones, like this one, are small, made of bent wood and smooth string with the feather hanging from the neck. They represent unity and a sweet tradition that they like to carry on. When they're hung above the bed, just like this one, in the sunlight the next morning while you're sleeping, the bad dream will get destroyed in the sunlight. And the good dream, of course, will get passed through to you while you're sleeping, so you'll have a peaceful night. Me, myself, since I constantly have sleep paralysis and I often have bad dreams, I wanted to purchase a dream catcher myself just to see if this will be something that will help me. Native Americans feel like it has become more American because of the different colors. The different colors and how the different designs and how big and small they are. There are a few American establishments named after the dream catchers, such as the Dream Catchers Hair Extension Company that specialized in 100% Remy hair. And there's a Dream Catchers Therapy and Wellness Center that they specialize in anyone who has who needs to go to rehab, anyone who has ADHD, nutritionalist specialist type things, and also those who suffer from who need to speak to a psychiatrist about anything of that sort. This company will help. like I've explained, me myself, I have experienced bad dreams, and that's why I've chosen to choose this topic to share with you guys, because I know we all have had bad dreams, and this will be a way to help you sleep at night. Are there any questions?
A lot of original topics today. I really appreciate the originality that's gone into all of these speeches so far. And especially this one. It occurs to me that no one has ever done a speech on dream catchers in my classes. And I really appreciate the originality of recognizing the opportunity to explore something that I suspect a lot of people take for granted.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of dream catchers in people's bedrooms and in people's homes, and I wonder how much about the culture that produced this do you understand?
Yeah.
That brings me to a question I actually have, and I'm wondering if this is something that you considered. Let's see, Chipoya, I believe you pronounced it. Are people of Chipoya culture, do they see the rest of the world appropriating dream catchers as offensive?
When I read online, they said that they were, they feel like it's become more Americanized because of the different things like I explained, like they made them big, small, and they don't really think that Americans think of it as what they think of it as, unity and like a sweet tradition to help them, get through their sleep and have, undisturbed sleep. I think they kind of consider it as cultural appropriation, but not as aggressively.
Okay. Yeah, I would just imagine that the dream catcher, that there's more to it than what the average person, the average American, non-Chipoya person might attribute to it. And they could be objects that are used offensively by people if we don't understand the religion and the spiritual beliefs that go beyond that. But anyway, I'm glad you considered that at least, or noticed that in your research. All right, some things that are working well in your speech. I'm seeing really consistent attention to sources. The one instance where you struggled to find a date for a source, and you and I might take a look at a source and see where there might be a date. If it's a source published online, where that information is located. If it's not posted on a web page per se, we can look at the meta tags for the web page, or the information about the web page that's sort of beneath the surface, and we can figure that sort of thing out. But we should always, aim to find current information and confirm that information is in fact current. But I did see consistency in looking for sources. Great visual aids to add emphasis, to add clarity to parts of your speech, and again, a really original topic. A couple things I want you to do in the future. And frankly, I'm seeing this as kind of a pattern today, and I'd like everyone to be aware of this. I'd like to see more attention in the introduction to what the body of the speech is going to look like, with a preview of your main ideas. And then when you get to the conclusion of the speech, summarize your main ideas almost in the exact same terms as you used to preview them. So, today I'm going to talk about the Chipoya people. I'm going to talk about their tradition of dream catchers, and I'm going to talk about the way dream catchers have been appropriated by Americans. Today, within my speech, I talked about the culture of the Chipoya people. I talked about dream catchers and how dream catchers have been appropriated by most Americans. Using the same terms, there should be a really clear preview, a real clear summary that draws attention to itself. You might be thinking, Mood, why do we have to be so repetitive? Why do we have to be so redundant? It helps the audience hold the message in their minds past when the message is over. You notice that in my example, I didn't actually get the actual content of your speech. It's because you didn't have a clear preview, clear summary. A lot of the message is kind of slipping out of my functioning short-term memory. Another thing you can do to make the speech more memorable is include really clear transitions, draw attention to themselves. and word the transitions using the same terms that you use in those previews and those summaries. Now that I've discussed the culture of the Shipoya people, let's talk about a specific artifact, the dream catcher. Now that I've talked about the artifact of the Shipoya people, let's talk about how this artifact has been appropriated by Americans. Now that I've discussed this, and that, I'm coming to my conclusion. So design transitions in a way that draws attention to themselves. All right, so previews, transitions, summaries. Let's figure out when sources are published, even if it's not immediately apparent. Make those changes for me, Kevin. Okay, thanks, Steve.